What's good, y'all? It's your boy Sean Peter Blunt guy. Hey! And we are here. We are back with a One Piece discussion where we are going to discuss post chapter 1065. We will discuss predictions, discussions, the chapter, what's moving forward, all that good stuff. But before we get into the discussion, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe, hit that bell for notifications. Comment your thoughts down below. What did you think of the chapter? You know, do you agree? Do you disagree with anything we say? What are your theories? What are your predictions for the next chapters to come? Let me know down in the comments. Also, follow me on Twitch so you could catch me live and you can engage with me in real time. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and make sure you join the Discord. If you're part of the Discord, you could potentially become part of a future discussion stream. So join the Discord. It's also the best place to interact with me. That's where I usually engage the most of all the platforms. And you can send me content to react to. If it's One Piece content, I'll react to it in a One Piece reaction. If it's some other content, I'll probably react to it on like a chill stream, you know. But follow or join the Discord. Come be a part of the community. Anyway, y'all, today we are here for this One Piece discussion or post 1065 discussion. So let me bring in my panel, my guests. But yeah, so today I got the panel. We got Angel in the building. We have Cube in the building. And we also have D, LaJoy Boy, in the building. And today we are going to talk about, or we're going to talk about the chapter, and we're going to talk about moving forward from this chapter, you know. And today I'm gonna do a little different than I normally do. You know, I usually kind of go in order of the chapter, but today I just kind of got some talking points, like some topics where that's focused on the chapter, of course, you know, that I kind of want to talk about, right? I didn't really do anything with the cover story because the cover story is like about film red, even though you guys seen it, so I didn't want to talk about the movie because what can you guys say without putting any spoilers on the stream, right? So
I actually,
The
actually, I
the,
was
the best part is the ending.
all right, we're not talking
dude.
about
It's just no. But he hasn't seen the movie. He just heard me, Joy Boy, talk about it briefly. That's why he doesn't know about. He didn't see the movie yet. No worries.
no.
The only thing I'm gonna say, which I found very interesting, and it's nothing really about the
About the cover
movie at all,
page?
but but it's not about the movie because I've seen the movie. It's not about that. Is that why did Oda, other than the captain, why did he put the only first commander alone, which I find Beckman, which I find very interesting.
Oh.
He's the only one who's not a captain who's alone, and which I find very interesting.
What I found interesting from not watching, and this is just coming from not watching the movie, so maybe they're in the movie, but I noticed Oven and Katakuri was in the film cover page, you know, or the film art. So I'm like, does that mean Katakuri is in the movie? Y'all don't have to answer that. I'm just, that's just a question that popped in my mind, you know, because hey, anytime you got Katakuri on screen, that's a W for me. That's a W for me.
Really?
Huh?
You think that?
What?
Anytime he's on screen, it's like a W.
I said it's a W for me. It's
I guess
for me personally, because I like Katakuri.
Okay, we're talking about personal stuff. Okay, then.
Yes, I did say personally. I did say for me. I did say for me.
Yeah, Broth is gonna proclaim who is the best character, and everybody has to agree now.
Well, I ain't saying Katakuri is the best character. He's probably
no, but
top
the way
five,
Angel
honestly.
said it, he said it like you like whatever you say is absolute in the story of One Piece. That's why.
Yeah. For me means for me, Angel.
I'm just saying, if it's for him personally, okay.
But that's what I said originally. You must have like glossed over the for me part. It's fine though. It's fine. You know, that's not what we here. We're not here to debate, semantics like that. But all right, so let's get into this chapter, guys. Y'all ready to get into this chapter, guys?
Yes, of course.
All right, so all right, first I kind of want to talk, now my talking points are pretty much in order of what happened in the chapter. First, I kind of want to address Caribou. What is like the future of Caribou? Like what's going on with Caribou? We know he's been around since Sabaody, like the return, the Sabaody 2, the return to Sabaody. And ever since he's been introduced to the story, it's like Oda been keeping him relevant, right? Like when I initially seen the character, I thought he was just gonna be kind of like exclusive to that arc. I thought he was gonna be. I didn't think we was gonna keep seeing the guy, right? But he is a Logia user, right? Like he's probably one of the few Logia users that we seen in the story, which is unique in itself, right? He has the mud devil fruit, whatever. He knows about Shirahoshi being Poseidon. Even tried to kidnap her at one point. He knows about Pluton. Probably know about the poneglyphs. Probably, I don't know. He might know some stuff about poneglyphs. He talks about some mysterious guy, right, that he has to give this information to. I personally think it's Blackbeard. Yeah, and he's with he saved Luffy, or not saved him, but he helped Luffy at one point, by giving him food, and I think he did that twice, didn't he? Didn't he do that in Udon, and he did that on after Luffy fell into the sea? I felt like he saved or helped Luffy twice. But yeah, and now, the Straw Hats, Zoro, Brook, they're on the ship. They say, hey, Zoro's pretty much like, hey, I appreciate you helping my captain. Now leave. So it's like they're going to leave him at this island. Like what y'all think? Like, what's y'all speculation on Caribou? Like, what's his relevance going to be? Because he obviously has some level of relevance if he's still in the story. He knows about all these ancient weapons. Who wants to? I'm gonna let one of you guys. Who wants to take this first?
I like to go first because I was wondering. I feel like Caribou is gonna be somehow like the way I see with this chapter. Because I saw that he was a bit like the stowaway member, the one member that is part of the crew but has never officially joined. So, and I do feel like we're going to this thing where he's like what's called not Pedro, Nekomushi, and the two minks who stayed with Roger, who are stowaways as well. But I do feel like Oda is going to do some sort of pattern, or maybe I think Caribou is going to, because of the niceness of the crew, he might have a change of heart. The way he reacted to Zoro being nice to him.
Yeah, so you think he might be the unofficial, unintended Straw Hat of the crew?
Yeah,
to where maybe if, because now that you said that, I'm thinking a scenario of him giving, like the guy that we talked about, right? Like the guy he said he's got to give the information to, it possibly being Blackbeard. And if it is Blackbeard, that final, like the fight that they have against Blackbeard, if he's still with the Straw Hats at that point, Blackbeard is like, hey, Caribou, what's up? You gonna give me that information or not? Hey, you ready to turn back to the dark side and betray the Straw Hats or whatever? And he might be like, you know what? I kind of like the Straw Hats. I think I'm good on helping you. I think I'm good on turning on you. That's kind of what you mean? Something along that line?
Yeah, he basically is going to be flipped in a way.
Okay.
Could be a possibility.
That's interesting. You got anything else to add to that thought?
No, that's the main point of the thought.
Okay. All right. Angel, the Joy Boy, y'all got anything thing to add, or y'all got your own thoughts on Caribou?
I mean, not really. I definitely think Blackbeard is the most obvious pick for who he wants to sell his stuff for.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Oda has something planned for him to keep him around this long. For sure.
Yeah. But you ain't got no speculations on it, because I mean, hey, you've been giving speculations and you've been hitting the mark on some of them. So, maybe you might have a, accurate speculation.
I mean, I haven't really looked into Caribou motive too much, other than just informant for Blackbeard, probably the real 10th Titanic captain, but I don't know.
And I think that's kind of what Oda been wanting, like people to overlook Caribou, because I think he could potentially.
Yeah, I mean, because he's left him out of a couple of main arcs just to have him appear out of nowhere. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's still around.
That's why I'm saying it was intentional for Oda to he wants us to overlook. But the fact that Caribou knows so much is at this point it's hard to overlook him. If he just knew about Poseidon, you could kind of overlook him, even though you'd be like, he still knows about it. He's still one of the few. But now he knows about Pluton as well. He's still with the Straw Hat. So it's like, what's Oda's end goal with Caribou? Yeah, Angel.
I don't know.
Yeah. Love the input. I love it.
The most obvious answer. I won't lie. I don't have future sight, but I knew that answer was coming.
Yeah. you know something?
But I don't.
Go ahead, Angel.
I just don't know, man. I mean, it can go anywhere.
But you could just come up with a speculation. But this is fine. I'm not going to hound you, because I kind of got something I kind of want to talk about it if Andrew's not going to talk about it. All right, so I kind of agree with Cube's, I guess his scenario a little bit. I wouldn't say so much a stowaway. I believe that there will come a time, possibly this arc, where Caribou will split from the Straw Hats and go back to whoever this said person is. You know what I'm saying? I think it's Blackbeard, so I think he will go back to Blackbeard and give him the information and continue to work for Blackbeard, and then maybe eventually betray Blackbeard for the Straw Hats. Like, I could see it being something along, because I think it has to be like, there has to be some point where he goes back to whoever he's working for. I think that it's just necessary for him to go back to him, and it could happen similar to what Cube said, where it doesn't happen until the Straw Hats actually meet Blackbeard. If Blackbeard is indeed the guy we're talking about, but I'm thinking it's going to happen before that, though. Before the Straw Hat and Blackbeard pirate meeting occurs, I think he's going to like eventually split, find his way back, and then maybe it comes to a point where he betrays that person to help the Straw Hats. You know what I mean? That's what I'm thinking. But yeah, all right. So, anybody got anything else to add about Caribou? Any other thoughts?
Okay, I'll say one thing.
What's up? Is it going to be something that's actually constructive to the discussion?
Yes, I am. I was gonna say, whoever he's talking about, I feel like they will have some connection to the East Blue.
Things gonna be buggy.
No, I didn't say that, but I just believe it'll be someone who has connections there.
Why though?
Because of the cow.
Because of the what?
The cow.
The cow.
Yes, the cow.
What cow?
Arlong's cow.
What about Arlong's cow?
He had it.
He had Arlong's cow.
Word for word. Give a clear sentence for what you're saying because you're just giving
Yeah,
parts
like
of it.
you just saying stuff, bro. You gotta expand on your thoughts, man. Like, what are you talking about?
Caribou got okay. Since Caribou has Arlong's cow
Okay.
that was in the East Blue, I feel like whoever he's talking about might have ties to the East Blue.
I mean, the cow's still a fishman or sea animal, so it could go anywhere and get caught by somebody else or something. But I don't know. I don't remember that. I don't remember him having Arlong's cow sea animal or whatever. But yeah, man, Angel, you gotta expand on your thoughts, man. I can't talk about the cow. I'm like, what are you talking about? What cow? The cow from the Chick-fil-A promotion.
He has the cow.
The sky, the house, because of the house. What house, Angel? There's a million houses in One Piece. Den Kushi says, I think Caribou is tied to the ancient kingdom somehow. I'm guessing because the cross on his shirt. I'm guessing because, you know, I mean, because I know Den Kushi's thoughts. Like, you know, his he speculates that the cross, the cross that like Caribou has on the shirt and the one that Oars has on his apron, they're all related to, they're like Joy Boy's symbol. So that's what he means. That's why he's saying Caribou is tied to the ancient kingdom somehow. I don't know. And you said in the word eyes. I was just about to say like he has eyes similar to Mihawk and Emu, but his are slightly different because he has like 3 layers. You know, where Mihawk has like the black layer, the outer black layer, then he has the yellow layer, and then he has the inner yellow layer, and it's like it's weird. It's like Caribou has a extra one. He has an extra layer of a ring compared to Mihawk and Eam, you know. But yeah, I've definitely talked about Caribou when it comes to those eyes, though. I definitely talked about that, you know. And since we're talking about Caribou, I don't think it's off topic, you know. I think those eyes are very meaningful, right? Like, everybody with those eyes is like, they're kind of like, if Den Kushi is right with this, the cross symbol being like related to Joy Boy, being Joy Boy's symbol, that means we have Mihawk being related to him, Caribou. Both of those characters have those eyes, and Eam as well. Eam has those eyes, even though he doesn't have like the cross symbol. Eam, we kind of speculate that Eam has came from the Void Century, or possibly even earlier than the Void
Before
Century.
that.
So, you know, I think those eyes are definitely maybe a bloodline type thing, maybe some type of awakening. But what was you saying, Q?
I do agree with the bloodline thing, but I do think those eyes for certain people is some form of awakening. That's why Luffy had it when he got Gear 5. But because we might talk about this later on when we'll talk about lineage factor, but I do think the eyes and lineage factor, there's a connection.
Yeah, no, I agree. I kind of look at those eyes. This might sound a little cliche, you know, and people may not like me saying this, but most anime have a lot of things in common and connections and stuff. I think those eyes are like kind of like the Sharingan. You know, I think they're similar to the Sharingan, where they're like a bloodline trait that gives you special abilities. You know, I'm not saying it works the same as the Sharingan, but I think it's like the Sharingan in a sense. It's a bloodline thing that you can only get from being of a certain lineage, and when you have it, you can do certain things that nobody else could ever achieve without those eyes. Go ahead, Cute.
Just what I will say, and we'll talk after to lineage factor, so I can say it. I do feel like the way Oda made the idea of inherited will, the lineage factor, is I think he took properties, information that you get from an ID card. So, you know, the height, hair color, that's why when some certain people go to some weird changes when they use their abilities, the first thing that we see that changes is their teeth, maybe, but their eyes and their hair is what affects the most. That's why Luffy, Gear 5, he got white hair, most likely linked to the inherited will of his fruit. Why, when Cavendish became Hakuba, he went from long blonde hair to spiky blonde hair that went a bit higher. Same thing as when Blackbeard, he goes through his different souls. The whole gap changes side. So I think it's like a lineage factor is like some sort of ID card of that will, you know, social security, stuff like that. Unique to it. So when you activate it, it basically like shifts certain stuff.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Den Kushi said Bluff know his shit. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I watch a lot of y'all videos, man. You know, of course, I watch a lot of y'all videos, so I would definitely, you know, I definitely kind of remember a lot of you guys' talking points. You know, you and I want to say Wizard of Warriors. You know, y'all kind of got those talking, definitely champion those talking points or similar talking points, right? But all right, kind of let's move on from Caribou. Let's go Zoro and Brook, because they were also on the ship, right? What will be their roles in the arc? Like right now, we know they're staying back, protecting the ship. I personally think those two are the main characters that I feel as though Vegapunk has nothing for them to. Of all the Straw Hats, I think Vegapunk, or I think Zoro and Brook wouldn't really benefit from anything Vegapunk has to offer. I mean, I guess you could say with Zoro maybe black swords and stuff, but Zoro could learn black swords from Mihawk or somebody else, right? Brook, I don't really know how Brook would benefit from, like, what kind of upgrade Vegapunk could give Brook, but yeah, man, like with Zoro and Brook's purpose from here on, I think maybe they could intercept CP0 possibly. You know what I mean? I think that's the only thing I could really think of.
Actually, I do think they're going to intercept with CP0, but I have this idea that I think they're not going to fight CP0. I think Dragon is going to fight against CP0.
You think Dragons will fight against CP0?
Not this chapter, though, that just came, the one before, that scene where Vegapunk is talking to Dragon is a little parallel scene to Monet speaking to Doflamingo when she says she's about to die. And the thing that Doflamingo does is he goes to fly from Dressrosa to Punk Hazard, but he comes too late. So I think Dragon will do the same thing, but he'll come on time. But he'll be the one who will interfere with CP0.
I feel as though Dragon got a lot on his plate, though. Like, too much.
Well, it would make sense. The one person to interfere with CP0 being Dragon would, you know, be like a good matchup.
The Dragon seemed like he might be a little too far, though. Like, how's he going to, like, well, he's in the Kamibaka Kingdom. Where's that? Like, ain't that in the Grand Line?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's in Paradise, probably.
Yeah.
So if that means Dragon would have like a long distance to cover, where Rob Lucci's probably a lot closer. Like CP0 is probably a lot closer. So I don't know. I don't know if he would be able to intercept them. You know what I'm saying? And he doesn't know that CP0 is coming there. I don't think. Like, it seemed like Vegapunk just told him, like, "Hey, I'm gonna die." Like, he didn't say, "Hey, CP0."
Yeah, just the scene. The scene was like a big parallel to the Doflamingo and Monet scene. Basically saying the same stuff, and the one thing that differs is that Doflamingo flies basically there, but he comes too late. So that's what I'm saying. It's a possibility that Dragon could come, but like you said, currently right now he's too far away. But we don't know how the stories will progress. That was my thought. That's why.
Like, maybe he doesn't intercept CP0. Maybe he intercepts like somebody else that's headed to Egghead Island. Like maybe if if Kizaru decides to go to Egghead Island, because when we look at it, there is a strong connection with Kizaru and Vegapunk. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Kizaru, like Vegapunk had like Kizaru's light integrated in Kuma or in the Pacifista. Also, what's his name? Sentomaru, Sentomaru. He calls Kizaru his uncle now, and I don't know if that's just like a respect type situation or if they're actually related, right? But he's also the bodyguard of Vegapunk, you know. So if they, I mean, just kind of assuming that is Sentomaru's uncle, right? And where is Sentomaru anyway? Like, I think that's something that needs to be talked about sometime, maybe a little later.
I thought he wasn't his bodyguard anymore.
Was that said?
I don't know, but I just thought that. Maybe I'm wrong though.
No, and now he's a Marine officer because before he was just a bodyguard. But the last time we saw, he was trying to take down Luffy.
Oh,
yeah, he works for the Marines now.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. So, all right, but there's connection with Kizaru, and I feel as though if the higher up Marines get wind that the Straw Hats are at Egghead Island, I can see it being a situation where Kizaru decides to go because he already kind of has that connection with Vegapunk, you know. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts. Anybody else, you know? I mean, talking about Zoro and Brook, going back to Zoro and Brook.
I said mine like last week about like maybe getting some insight about Zoro seeing the Grim Reaper.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Oh, like
Brook
and Zoro talking about like Brook telling Zoro.
Yeah, because I mean Brook has died before, so he's probably seen the Grim Reaper, and then like I was talking about like one of the like fun theories that was going around was that it was actually Brook and Zoro was hallucinating. But then we found out like they weren't close at all, so I could see like Zoro asking, "Hey, did you save or did you pick me up from Wano, bro?"
Yeah. I heard theories of that being like the Kloboterman. You know what I'm saying? Like that being
we talked
Pluton's
about Pluton,
Pluton's Kloboterman. You know, which kind of wouldn't make sense though. You know what I'm saying? You know, I like that idea, but you know, I don't know. What about Angel? Anything? Zoro?
I mean, I feel like we could possibly, I don't know, maybe something will come up which causes Brook to talk about why he became a pirate, because for some reason something be over like, oh yeah, me and Cube had this discussion. I should mention that too. But something like 50 years ago, well, past 50 years ago, it seems like something happened that caused people to want to become pirates. So yeah, that's what I think.
So, to add on it, so basically, whenever they talk about 50 years ago, it's either a crew was decimated, Brook's crew, the Shimotsuki clan came to the East Blue where they had to fight off against bandits, and it's the same time period where Dragon and Kainu were born and Fujitora, and we've seen that every time powerful characters at the time they were born, there was some sort of event that happened. And they don't talk about the golden age of piracy with rocks and all of them, but after what Roger did and made his big speech. And so basically what we predicted is Kid and Killer's backstory. We talked about a similar stuff, but that we've seen in Kid and thing. So that's why maybe the East Blue is so peaceful, is because they had so much war in the past. And the New World is maybe hell because before there was so much war over there, you know, and the paradise had none of the wars. So, you know, like something happened 50 years ago.
Yeah, and around, and you know, before around that time too is when Roger starts his crew, and you know, Oda does not show the exact year of that.
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, maybe there's something there.
Okay, that's fair. Anybody else on Zoro and Brook? Anything else to add? I know we kind of talked about a little before, but I thought it was worth mentioning because, you know, especially them being with Caribou right now and all that. So, thought it was But you was gonna say something cute?
Yeah, because I do agree with all of what you guys said. That's all my point, and that's like a back idea. I've always wondered if Brooke, with his devil fruit, he does have a specific type of devil fruit, and I do feel like maybe his way of using his fruit might maybe an exchange of information with Zoro on how to use Haki in a different way, maybe.
Okay.
Because maybe his soul stuff, and since the Green Reaper stuff goes back to it, but I do feel like, and we know Zoro is the most Haki, he was the first one to show some form of Haki in Alabasta already. So we know he's more in tune on certain aspects of Haki. So maybe Brooke, being the one who can go through, see your souls and goes through souls, something might happen between them, which might be interesting.
All right, Den Kushi says Brooke and Zoro are going to talk about the Grim Reaper situation, I hope. So he's with D Joy Boy on that Grim Reaper thing, which I think it'd be dope because we ain't really get no explanation. It just was something that happened, and then it's like Oda just kind of like, I'm moving on. So yeah, it would be dope though. I think this would be, if they're going to bring it up, I do believe that this will be the ideal time to do so. So I'm definitely with you guys as well. Okay, there was something that Vegapunk said, right? That kind of interests me. Maybe I looked too much into it, but I forgot who it was. I think it was Frankie was talking to Lilith. It was the Lilith, Vegapunk, and she mentioned something about the island running on fire, right? Mm-hmm. And then she said if they had an undying flame, they could create a sun, Yep. And one thing that got, like, I thought of immediately when she was talking about the island technology being able to work off of fire and possibly creating an undying sun, maybe Sabo. Sabo came to my mind immediately. Like the meta no mi. And if that's what they mean when she said it was off of fire, I was thinking actual fire, but maybe it could mean fire in a different sense as well. Because I also thought of Avatar, right? Avatar, where you look at the Fire Nation, and specifically, I forget her name. She was the daughter of the Dragon Lord. What's the name, sister?
Azula.
Yeah. Through her fire bending, she's able to create electricity. You know what I'm saying? So I'm thinking maybe in some similar way of that, that's what she mean, like electricity. Like, like what? Like, I don't know. What you guys think about that? Like,
it's anything? It's either through like the Marinara, or I think it's like talking about like nuclear energy.
Nuclear energy, yeah, it could be nuclear energy. That's a good point.
Because that's like kind of plays more into the sun part than the fire part.
Yeah.
And actually,
go ahead, Q. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also I do like what they just said about the fire and the sun, because I think I told Angel, I don't know if I told you guys, but a few weeks ago, I was very interested in how, if we go this idea of devil fruits are people from the past with their Haki. I always wondered how, Luffy's devil fruit was made, and I wondered if Sun God Nika was actually a Lunarian. The only ones who can change the density of their skin with fire. Fire you can make rubber with fire. He is always called, Oda says he has wings, not commanders. And when he becomes awakened, so basically the Joy Boy or the first user, his hair becomes white. So I'm wondering if also a long time ago, and Sun God Nika, Sun for the level of his fire, God for the Lunarian aspect, so maybe like a Lunarian. Lunarians were maybe able to captivate the power of the sun a long time ago, and so it could also all of that. And I think it was just not Nika. A lot of them were able to be at the level of the sun, so hotter than King's magma level.
Yeah,
it could also be that.
Yeah, Den Kushi said thoughts on Sun God fruit being the eternal flame, and then he said, "Yeah, I agree. Sun God Nika is Lunarian, hence the white hair." So yeah, he was kind of. And he said the God part is crazy. They were on the real life. So that's interesting. The sun god Nika possibly like maybe being able to make an eternal flame, right? Like maybe turning it into rubber and keeping it that way. So then it, it'll still burn like fire, but it would like remain like rubber do. Like, you know how you have rubber and he meant red line, but you know, you have rubber and rubber doesn't just go away. You know, it just stays for a long period of time. So yeah, that's interesting. That's an interesting thought though. Sun God being or Nika being I don't know if he would be like the devil fruit itself would be the eternal flame, but I could see like Nika at least not the eternal flame that Lilith needs to create the sun sun, right? Like because when you say he is the eternal flame, I would think that sun god Nika would have to stay there and be the eternal flame, but but maybe being more like along creating the eternal flame, you know what I mean? So yeah, I kind of agree with you guys. I kind of like that route as well. Angel, you got anything?
Nothing.
Angel here don't never have.
And also,
go ahead.
I was wondering if maybe that's how he was able to do the light stuff or the plasma type lasers, because I think if you mix fire and you play around with electricity with certain voltage, it does create some form of plasma. So I'm also wondering if we know electro as well. So I'm wondering if he did not play with other elements with fire to create, those.
Yeah. Then Kushi says, OP no Mi has perennial youth. Is it possible they can use the surgery on a flame? I actually thought of that. Like, I actually consider that, but I'm like, bro, I don't know if I want Law dying to create some eternal flame. But I did think of that, though. I was like, bro, you could probably do eternal, like, you could do the eternal surgery and get like an eternal fire, but then Law is just gonna be dying for the sake of creating the sun, Like you get the meta no mi and the OP no mi and work your magic, He said dark soul shit. You had something to add, Cube?
Yeah, I do like this idea of what it says, this island running on fire, and I do think like we've been focused on Paramecia and on how Zoan are made, but I do wonder that maybe like understanding Logias, the elements on this earth may actually be one of the basic source of how everything started, because I do feel like the ecosystem, we don't talk enough about it, so I like that part that are bringing back stuff like fire and stuff like that, not just devil fruits.
Yeah, that's kind of why I thought of Sabo when she said the eternal flame. I'm like, I wonder if Sabo could help with that. You know what I mean? Like I was, that's why I also mentioned Sabo in this topic. LaJoy boy, you got anything? Because I think you did say something, but I kind of ain't
like with like the Sabo stuff, like with the connection with Dragon. You would think like Dragon might have tried to help out with Sabo at some point, right?
Like, Dragon might
send Sabo over.
Maybe
send Sabo to Egghead Island.
Yeah,
but we don't. But the thing is, we don't really know the state of Sabo at the moment.
Well, I was saying like before, like once he got the Mirror.
Yeah. Oh, like okay, like maybe it was
if Sabo was connected, like Dragon would have already sent him. You would think.
Yeah. Man, but yeah, we just gotta learn what's going on with Sabo though, and maybe if somehow he ends up in Egghead Island, I don't know how that would happen. I don't know. So, especially what happened with Sabo is tough call. It's a tough call. Anybody else got anything about this the island running on fire. Which now that I think about, kind of basing off of the end of this chapter, right? How what we learned at the end of the chapter, which I don't want to go too deep into it, right? What we know about the island and how it's related to the ancient kingdom and stuff, and how it works off of flame, and then you talk about the sun god who was around, or at least Joy Boy was around the ancient kingdom as well. You know, it kind of it kind of made me think maybe Joy Boy was the eternal flame. You know what I mean? I don't know. You know, especially if he had the sun god Nika devil fruit, or if he was indeed Nika, like Nika is Joy Boy. Like going off of that type of logic, maybe the sun god is the eternal flame. I mean, that's a good, like, thinking about how the chapter ended. I feel as though there could be something to what Cube and Den Kushi said, right? I think there could be some type of connection with that, and I like it. I like it. Moving on, unless you guys have anything to add to the
No.
So, okay, we got. Let's get into some of the meat and potatoes of the arc, man. We got the whole Seraphim number 4. You know, we got an actual number with this one, right? We got an actual number with the Jinbei Seraphim, right? What we learned from the Jinbei Seraphim is he has senior Pank like abilities, right? He can also use Fishman Karate with the senior Pank abilities, which I think that's dope, because I didn't even think that would be possible. You know, like he could take the ground like his water. Huh? Well, that's why I said senior Pank like abilities.
Yeah,
I didn't say it was. I'm saying it's like senior Pank. Because even Frankie said, "I seen this ability before." You know what I mean? But go ahead. You seem like you got something to talk about. Let continue.
Yeah, I think that it is like because Angel and I, we had a very long but nice discussion yesterday about it. You know, because he thought he was saying Senior Pink, and I actually think that maybe Vegapunk went straight to the source on some of the devil fruits. And I'm wondering if, now we know, because I checked Senior Pink's devil fruit can only swim. And we know that Jinbei seems to be more than just swimming. Like, it do seem like he can turn the water around him, the ground around him into water, you know, like basically a form of awakening with his ability. So I'm wondering if Vegapunk literally retraced some of the origin of, you know, of some of some devil fruits on the where they came from, and he was able to reproduce it, because that could also be pretty OP.
Yeah, I also want to give y'all a fun fact as well. Oda said if Sanji had a devil fruit, it would have been Senior Pank's devil fruit. He said Zoro would have had Kaido's devil fruit. Sanji would have had Senior Pank's devil fruit. Usopp would have had the Poki Poki no Mi, which is the one where you can put like weapons in your body. Nami would have had the Rumble Rumble fruit, I think. And that was devil fruit. And Frankie would have had Baby Five's devil fruit. I posted in the Discord if you guys want to know which SBS that's from, because that SBS is pretty interesting too. Like, there's a lot of information in that SBS. A lot of interesting tidbits. But yeah, anyway, yeah, so I definitely think it is Senior Pank's like artificial devil fruits, like artificial version of Senior Pank's devil fruit, kind of like the artificial Kaido devil fruit. I think that's what it is. Like, I think because we know Vegapunk know how to make artificial devil fruits, and I kind of disagree that he got it straight from the source, because the only artificial devil fruit that we seen that Vegapunk has made was the Kaido one, and we know that Kaido was kind of like being experimented on by the world government. So it makes me think that Vegapunk had opportunities to get Kaido's DNA, get the devil fruit DNA, or the lineage factor of the devil fruit possibly, right? So I'm thinking, if that is the case, how did Vegapunk get like a hold of the DNA, I guess you could say, of Senior Pink's devil fruit? You know, because
So
go ahead.
for me,
Joey.
it would be either like a former user, or when Dofi was a warlord, like maybe a couple of his family members went to, and that's could have been how he got it.
Good point.
That's just like the first two that come to my mind.
Good point.
That bothers me is that he's shown that Jinbei, the way he's using it, is not at all like Mr. Senior Pink's, because Senior Pink's ability just makes his body go through stuff like he's swimming, while that is basically manipulating water with it.
Well, yeah, it's also from the Fishman karate.
Yeah, so I do feel like they might be like some sort of like Otis gaming us like said there is an origin. Those who didn't came out of nowhere, and I do feel like he maybe. I'm not saying that he might have, but I think he went further than Senior Pink's ability.
No, I definitely think that's Senior Pink, because I think Senior Pink, his ability just because it's not like Senior Pink is just phasing through the ground. It's like when he's in the ground, the ground actually liquefies to a degree, and then when he leaves it, it goes back. So it's almost like Senior Pink's ability is really just to liquefy the ground for only more so his body. And that's pretty much what the Seraphim was doing as well. But
Frankie did not go in the ground with him. When he clammed him in the thing, he went into the water, but Frankie stayed on the ground.
Yeah.
The ability is only Senior Pink that could go into water,
but that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying he liquefies the ground for him. I said for him. He liquefied to only he can do it. He can actually swim through. But his body is like, when his body is swimming, when he touches it, it's liquefying, is what I'm saying. When he's swimming and stroking, he's liquefying. Stroking. But Jinbei just is, because he's a fisherman and he could use water, right? So it's like you're liquefying the ground where he could actually turn it and like use it like his water as well. Like Senior Pink, he wouldn't have been able to do that because he doesn't know fisherman karate. You know what I mean? So we never see him be able to use his devil fruit ability to that level. Go ahead, Angel.
For the DNA thing, I'm pretty sure everyone in the Don Quixote family was arrested except for Baby 5.
Yeah, they were all arrested.
So that's probably how he got the DNA.
Yeah, because you're right. So man, what? Are you gonna say something, Joy Boy? Oh, y'all coughing. But yeah, I mean, yeah, so yeah, exactly what you said. So, but wasn't it stated that the Seraphim didn't have devil fruit abilities, or was it just the Boa
for me,
and Mihawk?
That's it. I think devil fruit is a misconception. I think devil fruit is basically a medium to store hockey-based power abilities from a thing. That's why I think the Germa, the way they're doing it, is they're using with a host while
they're like splicing they're splicing.
Yeah, so basically it's like the whole.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's most likely lineage factor. The will is the mind of that, let's say, that entity. The fruit or the Germa or the clones are the body, and the spirit is that power. I feel like it's just Vegapunk and the Germa have been doing different stuff for the same end result.
Yeah,
that's how I'm feeling like it's going to.
I think Vegapunk still had like gotten the DNA from. I still think you gotta get the DNA from the devil fruit. Like, you don't necessarily have to consume the devil fruit or the artificial devil fruit, but you have to get the power. You have to like extract the DNA from the user or the devil fruit itself if you don't have the user, and then maybe integrate it into new, because the Seraphim are like, they are created, they're clones, so you could
Yeah,
you could play with genetics, right? It's like you're manipulating genetics. So I see what you mean, Cuban. That can be the case as well, but because Vegapunk knows how to create artificial devil fruits that are damn near like the normal, that aren't really like defected like the smile devil fruits, right? So who's to say he couldn't do it to a higher level now, to where he can actually just, instead of even having to create a devil fruit, he could just put it into a clone or something, and the clone itself is kind of like a devil fruit, like he's just a living devil fruit. So yeah, I see what you're saying, and that could be the case. You know,
but I'm not contradicting. It's just until I see if I had seen Senior Pink done something similar with Fishman Karate, but he didn't. I think that's what's bothering me. But yeah, but I do agree with you guys also as well.
But it's like Senior Pink doesn't know Fishman Karate, so he couldn't.
Yeah, that's why.
You know what I mean?
I know, but it's just hard to visualize it myself.
But all in all, the only different thing that we seen from Jinbei or the Jinbei Seraphim than Senior Pink was the fact that he could actually use it with his Fishman Karate. And to me, that just says that he's just taking Fishman or Senior Pink's ability and adding Fishman Karate. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that if Senior Pink knew Fishman Karate, I think he would be able to do the same as well. You know what I mean? It's just he didn't know it, so he couldn't. You know what I mean? Another thing I noticed about the Jinbei Seraphim is it's like it's number 4, right? So it's telling me it's the 4th one that was made, right? So I'm thinking the Kuma Seraphim is going to be number 1, right? Like that's kind of what I'm thinking. Mihawk and Boa probably number 2 and 3, maybe I would assume, and then Jinbei number 4. You know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we got a Doflamingo one somewhere. Like I kind of want, I want to see that one. I definitely want to see that one. You guys got anything about the like? Well, we continuing talking about the Seraphim. Y'all think any other Seraphim have devil fruit abilities?
I was saying I think the Boa one might possibly have a devil fruit too, because her and Jinbei had the same star eyes,
Yeah.
unlike the Mihawk, and I think the Kuma, because I don't remember if we saw his eyes, but I'm pretty sure their eyes were not star pupil.
I kind of feel like that could be like, because I noticed that and I was like, Jinbei got the star, but I think because it's tough to say, because Mihawk, you're talking about a clone of a man who has unique eyes in itself anyway, right? So the Mihawk's eyes might be such a strong trait that, you know, it overcomes, like when you clone him, you're not gonna get the other Seraphim eyes. You're probably gonna get Mihawk's eyes, because that's like a strong genetic trait. In Vegapunk, if let's say Vegapunk knew this already, maybe he wanted the Mihawk Seraphim to have Mihawk's eyes, because then he gets all of the abilities Mihawk have with those eyes. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like we was talking about those eyes being special. So maybe Mihawk not having them was intentional. Mihawk specifically. You know what I mean? Like that's
And then I want to mention something else that I find pretty weird about the Seraphims, and that is the Kuma one, because you know when Ola drew Kuma, you know, when he was a kid, he had a black pupil, but even now with him as a Seraphim, we don't see his pupil, which is pretty weird, I guess.
I mean, I know the Pacifista don't have pupils like the old Pacifistas, you know. And maybe with the Kuma Seraphim, right? If let's say he was the first Seraphim, maybe maybe whatever gave those Seraphim those star-eyed traits came a little later after the Kuma Seraphim came around. But I don't know. It's tough to say. But
I think it has something to do with a will or another soul in you, more than one will or more than one soul. Hence why when certain people like Hakuba or Luffy, when they go when Hakuba wakes up in Cavendish or Luffy goes Gear 5, their eyes change pattern briefly during that time. So I do wonder that maybe those change patterns means that your will is not the same. Something has changed in your will.
Yeah.
Maybe that also could be it.
Yeah. What about you, Joy Boy? You got anything to add with this Seraphim conversation? Been a little quiet.
I mean, not really on the eyes. Like I noticed, he's only 98% done.
Yeah.
Like he only has the regular eyes too. So like with the star thing that Angel was talking about, it doesn't really coincide with that about having the devil fruit. He just has normal pupils.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, another thing about
it is interesting that they still have like the PX.
Another
on his right,
like
I don't know
said
if you noticed, but like on his right arm, it looks like right below his wrist, like in his forearm area, there's like water stored within it.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw that.
I missed.
I was gonna.
Let me check.
This was another thing I was gonna mention. Me and Joy, not me and Joy, but me and Cube talked about is that they both also. Cube and me and Cube talk about is that you know how Jinbei and Boy, how they both have star eyes. They're also, I think they're the only two we've seen show
form of emotion.
Yeah,
form of emotion. Jinbei one showed like he was getting upset. He had veins coming out when he went for Nami. He looked pissed off at her.
Yeah. I mean, he had pretty. I mean, he was looking a little perturbed the whole time.
Yeah.
He was looking a little perturbed the whole time. But one thing I kind of wanted to talk about, right, was the artificial, like, okay, just going with the logic that Oda, or not Oda, Vegapunk created an artificial devil fruit, because we know he could create them, right? He could create artificial devil fruits that work exactly like devil fruits based on Momonosuke's, right? One thing I've been thinking about is it possible that I keep saying Oda. Is it possible that Vegapunk could modify these devil fruits to where they don't have normal devil fruit weaknesses? He could get rid of the main devil fruit weakness as far as using, like, devil fruit users being able to actually swim, at least with the art, because they're not actually devil fruits. They're just artificial devil fruit, right? They're just artificial. They're fake. So if they're just counterfeit devil fruits, that means they probably don't have like that will that normal devil fruits have. Like like they, how they say there's a devil in the devil fruit, right? If you create an artificial devil fruit, you can't create a devil, right? You can't, because these things, we don't really know how devil fruits are made. Unless Vegapunk was able to recreate the devil as well, the devil in the devil fruits that's stopping users from being able to swim. Even then Kushi said I was just thinking that weird Momo could maybe go in water and pull Pluton out of Old Wano. Maybe. Hey, fish fruit, baby. Go ahead.
What
Angel.
you just said, you made me think about Momo, and I was like, what if that's the reason why Momo's devil fruit is considered a failure, is because he can't swim with his fruit?
No, because the will. Vegapunk was not able to do a will. The moment Momo has used his hockey at the end of the arc, the 2 times where he put all his will into his attack is when his fruit was working correctly. at close level to Kaido. I think that's what it felt like he wasn't able to recreate an original will. The moment Momo started using his own will, his true will, he started using his Devil Fruit at the end. So I do think Blunt is right about that, and I do think that the reason why they'll be able to swim is I think it's not about. I think water and haki is important in the origin of Devil Fruit, and I think it's whatever gives you life can remove you life. So I think, like you said, they can swim, but I think they have other weaknesses. Maybe the substance that are using it is also the weakness, like kryptonite with Superman.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the reason why I was thinking about that is because, in Zoa, Momo was drowning. So I was like, with what Bonf is saying, maybe that's the reason.
Momonosuke did have an instance where he was drowning in the water?
Yeah.
Because I was trying to recall and I couldn't think of one. So maybe he's still, unless he just can't swim though. Maybe Momo can't swim.
Yeah, that is also a possibility.
We never seen him actually learn how to swim or anything, so maybe it's just a bad swim. But you're right, maybe it was the Devil Fruit stopping him. I don't know. That was just because I never seen like Smile Fruit users drown or in water in general, and they have artificial Devil Fruits, even though there's like defective. But so I'm like, bro, could artificial Devil Fruit users actually swim? Because they're not real Devil Fruit, so I wouldn't think they wouldn't suffer the same weakness as real Devil Fruits. But
I hope Vegapunk it gives us like ingredients on how Devil Fruits are created, because I think that will answer a lot of stuff. Because it would be interesting to see how they're made. Maybe we can know why they're weak to the Usian and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Joy Boy? You got anything? Joy Boy left.
He's in the tower, maybe.
Well, he's muted, so I don't know. Okay, y'all got anything else about Devil Fruits? I mean, I wasn't really trying to turn Devil Fruit debate, but we kind of on the topic, especially talking about Seraphim with Devil Fruits.
Yeah, but let's say this is if this is really an artificial Devil Fruit, I'm really then this man really knows a lot, because this is a paramecia, not a zone. So yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be like the first replication of paramecia.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I think Devil, as far as being able to replicate, I feel as though Vegapunk could probably replicate any Devil Fruit. I don't think,
Yeah, he can. Yeah. Actually, quite not that difficult, actually.
It's just the only one that we seen just happened to be a zone, you know what I mean? But I
know, but like the reason why the paramecia thing was really interesting to me is because like the whole zone thing, it can be explained with DNA and stuff, but then paramecias, they're out of the ordinary. They're very peculiar. Like, how do you genetically make a person to be like that? But yeah, that's why.
Basically, I'm gonna drop this information right now because both of you don't know that, but I'm privately writing. I'm trying to write my own manga, my own shonen, and I've been like following Japanese lore. And I found something very interesting is that in Japanese lore, the body, mind, and spirit that you see in Naruto, it's not the full type of energy. There are 5 types of energy. Same thing as Devil Fruits, body, mind, and spirit. But the 2 other one in Japanese is soul and space. And so if you take those 5 categories and you take every Devil Fruit are explained, especially paramecia. So I do think that in that direction is that I think that's why Vegapunk is able to reproduce now paramecia. He understood, how to decipher the paramecias.
You say you starting the manga cube?
Yeah, work on the power system.
What's your manga going to be about? Like, what kind of powers are they going? Just like
listen, no, they have specific powers, but I'm working on a few things because I have the end game powers, but I need to work on a few things to make it, solid.
I suggested this to Adam, but I guess he already got his characters created, so you know it's a little late. But you should have a character named Kiru, like Kieru. I think that means vanish in Japanese. I think that's like Japanese for name I found. But his ability, you know, it's kind of like Blue Nose ability, right? Where he could, instead of creating doors, he could just create like little portals, right? And he's like an assassin, where these portals, he could create them anywhere at will. Like not like Blue Nose where he got to open the doors or whatever, but he could actually create portals, and like he could shoot through the portal like he uses guns and knives, and he could shoot through the portal, and he could like hit you from any direction because he could like create portals like within a certain vicinity, right?
I have actually I like this because I'm working on a future character that will have something similar to that, so I do like that.
Yeah, he got to be the world's greatest assassin though, where he just he could just open these little portals at will, and like if you try to shoot him or like stab him, you could he could like avoid it by like opening the portal and just redirecting your bullet or your attack or whatever. Just saying, man. You know, just giving ideas. Just giving ideas.
No, I appreciate it. And that was the point I was dropping with Paramecia. And so basically in Japanese folklore, it explains that in Japanese, powers are not made from gods, but the impact it has on this earth, environment, and stuff like that. So Paramecia could not basically be people from the past, but it could be basically human creation that came back as devil fruits. So that's why maybe Vegapunk understood, you know, how some of them were created and was able to redo it himself or make it better.
Then Kushi said the cow.
Making fun of Angel, making fun of Angel's
cow. Oh man, that goddamn cow. Angel and that cow. Oh man.
Why you guys say my name?
Cause you said the cow.
You're the one. Yeah, you're the one.
What cow? What are you guys talking about right now?
Arlong's cow.
Dude, Arlong Park.
You brought up.
Oh, okay.
All right, but okay, I also want to kind of move on a little bit. Still talking about the Seraphim though. We still sticking to the Seraphim. The possible weakness to lasers, right? Because there was a point where Vegapunk, I think it was either Pythagoras or Edison. They said, you know, we haven't tested the Seraphim with lasers yet, right? And he said there's still children. So it kind of confirmed that these Seraphim do indeed get old. You know, like that was, you know, one thing I thought is maybe they just stay young, right? Like, I think that's probably the best way you could keep, like, if you just keep them young forever, you know, I figured that would be beneficial, but it do seem like they do actually mature. Now, whether they look older, like they actually grow and look older and everything, I don't know. But he did say they were still children. You know, Kuma kind of looks like the oldest, though. Kuma looks a bit like the oldest. Like, he's in his teens, and the other one's, like, in the younger teens. So.
But do you guys think they're part giant? Because the way they're talking, Blackbeard said it, now they're saying it, they're saying they're quite big for kids. And we know that Vegapunk, if you're a clown, will work on giant kids.
I don't
Maybe
know.
He also
I feel like Boa and Mihawk Seraphim look pretty small. Like, they look like they were.
Blackbeard is almost 3 meters tall. He's almost 3 meters tall, and he said they're huge.
I had to look again.
Yeah, Blackbeard said they were huge.
I think it might, maybe it has something to do with that the green blood they're giving them.
Maybe.
Yeah, there was something a mention about green blood. That and the what was it, the element or whatever.
Yes, and since
go ahead.
And since Jinbei's at 98%, that makes me wonder if he's like, if that just means that he's almost done growing.
Which one? If who was
Jinbei.
normal humans. So I think Seraphim would do the same thing. They would grow like normal humans. I would assume.
Yeah. Then said Kuma was massive when Bonnie was a child. Yeah, Kuma was an adult at
Yeah,
that
but he was
point.
an adult.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
Kuma's
an
a
adult,
massive
yeah.
guy though. Kuma like stands as tall as Gecko Moria. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's a big
I think he's
fella.
like 5 meters tall or something like that. 5 meters tall or something like that.
Yeah.
Which is still big.
But Mihawk and Bo was 3 meters tall.
Well, Blackbeard is almost 3 meters tall, and he was shocked how tall they said they're huge. He was shocked how
I gotta see that panel.
And again, yeah, yeah, me too. I thought they were small, but now I remember. Now with this, I'm saying maybe they are bigger than usual. You know, Mihawk is small. He's 1.90 meters, so maybe he's like maybe 2 meters or 2 meters. 50,
I don't know where they got
than...
this. I don't know where they got this information, but on the wiki it's saying that the green blood accelerates their growth process.
Yeah, I think it did. I think it said that. It said like the green blood. Hold on, let me see what it said. And then Kushi said four cows tall.
Oh man,
Hey,
he's really going hard on it.
Going hard about what? I don't get the joke.
Bro, it's alright.
1 hour ago, you just told us the caribou with the cow, and we said what cow, and it lasted for like 30 seconds before you explained us the story. That's what he's messing around with because you kept saying cow at the beginning.
Yeah,
that's why.
Oh, okay.
So Pythagoras says a possible approach to the issue caused by the growth acceleration. Pulse BPM of 90, more green blood. So he said I kind of missed part of it. He says the Seraphim's attack patterns evolve as they grow. Does that mean that bloodline elements record in individual experiences? I think in the leak it said something else like DNA lineage or something.
Yeah.
But an official said bloodline elements. And then he says a possible approach to the issue caused by the growth acceleration. Pulse 8 or BPM of 90, more green blood. So it's kind of saying like maybe the green blood is something to do with their growth acceleration.
It does go with something we talked a few months ago about Devil Fruit evolving after each user. Yeah. You know, like certain Devil Fruits having like a recent type of weaponry because the user, you know, like it's connected. So it does also
what that could mean, Cube, going back to Jinbei utilizing Senior Pink's abilities, right? Just like you just said, maybe he evolved it.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that most likely Vegapunk went much further than just taking Senior Pink's Devil Fruit and added with Fishman Karate. I think he understood the science behind it all. That was my take on it. Because I didn't like when people were saying it's Senior Pink's ability, because it's a bit more than that for me. But I do think it is his ability, but more. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Because else will be. But also, something I was wondering now, you know, because we know about Senior Pink and what they said right now. And I was wondering if some stuff in the past, like some of the stuff that Germa has done. Wait, who is breathing like that? I'm sorry, but somebody's breathing quite heavily. I don't know who it is, but
I don't know.
Anyways, yeah, sorry, but somebody's breathing like.
I heard it a little bit too, though. So
yeah, it's very weird. So the idea of it is that I'm wondering if certain stuff that the Germa
it might have been the cow.
Yeah, maybe the cow. So I was wondering, because I thought of the jacket fruit. What if the initial idea of the jacket fruit a long time ago is connected to the raid suit that we have right now? Because if you think about the jacket fruit, taking out the special abilities that you would get, it's similar to a raid suit. The user gets power from that jacket, and his power is much higher, similar to physical and more. Well, jacket is only about physical. So that was my take on it.
I thought he controls whoever's wearing them.
No,
he gets their abilities.
He controls the basic.
But he gets their abilities.
They get the ability of the jacket. Yeah, and what Oda wrote in the data book is that if, let's say, the user had a specific trait from his race, the user wearing the jacket would also have it. He did talk at one point about it. Just that guy's human, so it doesn't change anything. Which I'm wondering now, certain stuff like that. They're talking about evolving, powers evolving, So it could be interesting.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. But all right. So anybody got anything else about the Seraphim? Because I kind of, I don't really got nothing else to add. I think we've talked about the Seraphim. Good depth. The Joy Boy. I know you probably.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
I know I'm a dread asking this, but Angel.
No.
Yeah, I figured. Nah, that's good. But what about you, Cute?
Honestly, about the Seraphim, no, but I think I have some questions that I think will be answers pretty soon. So we'll see.
Okay. So
of course they will.
Okay, so now I think we got a lot. We got a lot more in depth about Vegapunk and how these multi punks work, right? So it's seeming like each Vegapunk has specific jobs, right? Like they each play specific roles or specialities of Vegapunk, and they all focus on that speciality, right? We got Shaka, who I presume to be the leader, right? Like he's kind of the one that coordinates everything and he leads, and he's kind of, to me, I think Shaka is the embodiment of Vegapunk if he's not Vegapunk himself, like if he's not the actual Vegapunk body.
And Uderon.
Right.
And Uderon.
So I think Shaka's kind of the leader pretty much. He calls the shots, everything. Lilith seems like Lilith's job is to collect resources, right? Like salvage ships and stuff like that. I mean, it could be more. Maybe y'all may notice something about Lilith that I might have missed, but that's kind of what I got from Lilith. Edison seems like the inventor, the one who invents new stuff. Pythagoras seems like the data collector, because he was there trying to collect the data of Jinbei. Then we have York. York seems like one thing somebody pointed out for me. I think was it Joy? Was it you, Joy Boy? I'm not sure. Somebody pointed out that York's job is to take care of all the menial tasks. Like eating, sleeping.
That was me.
Yeah. It was you, and I think it was somebody else who also pointed it out too, but you did point it out first. Sleeping, eating, using the bathroom, pretty much York's job, right? And so I'm still a little confused about what was the other one's name? It was like not Wrath, I think.
There's Atlas. Lilith.
Atlas.
Yeah, Atlas. Yeah.
I'm a little confused with what Atlas's job is, and I could be wrong about Lilith. Like, what do you guys kind of take from Vegapunk and the roles of Vegapunk? Maybe something that I might have missed that I didn't say.
Well, the first thing is I'm honestly going more in my ideas that they're more than just clones. I honestly think he found a way to use Kuma's Devil Fruit. You know how he can remove fatigue and pain. I think he was able to disconnect some form of emotion of himself to create those clones. That's why they're all connected. Like they all have part of his emotions. And maybe that's why when one eats, all of them are fed at the same time. I think it's more like creating new Vegapunks. I think he used Kuma's Devil Fruit about repulsion.
That's actually an interesting take right there, Q. That I didn't even think of that. That's a very interesting take. Like, because if anybody could separate, because how does that happen, right? Like, how do you split somebody's, because I'm thinking because one thing I kept thinking was like, I get York's job, but how do you pee for somebody, right? How do you do that?
Yeah.
How do you do that? So maybe it would make sense if Kuma took like repelled the the need to eat and pee and all that stuff out of Vegapunk, and then just put it into one body, right? So every time Vegapunk has to pee, or anytime all the Vegapunks have to pee, you got one Vegapunk that does that for you. So I kind of like that. Joy Boy, you got anything to add to?
Listen, if that is the case, like I would like this. If that is the case, and how they were separated, I could definitely see like them all merging back into one Vegapunk.
Yeah. To the prime Vegapunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. But it seems like some of the Vegapunks seem more organic, and some of them seem a little more mechanical, right? Like I would say Lilith, Atlas, and York, and possibly Shaka as well. Possibly they seem like they're probably all organic, but then Pythagoras and Edison seem more mechanical, right? So I get like how they merge organic, and I mean I guess you could, like, that'd be a little weird, but I don't know how that would happen. But merging them all, that's pretty interesting. Angel,
What was the question? I got distracted.
we're talking about Vegapunk and Vegapunk's roles. Cube said that maybe Kuma repelled like certain aspects of Vegapunk and put him into each of these different Vegapunks, and that's how we got the multiple Vegapunks through Kuma. Joy Boy said they could possibly merge back into the original Vegapunk.
I don't know. They're just robots, I guess, to me.
I don't think they're just robots. I think York.
They have their own personality.
Yeah, like they all took a piece of Vegapunk, right? Like York, right? I think York alone's connect them. Like York alone connects all the Vegapunks. Cause when York eats, they all eat pretty much. They all get full and satisfied from it. When York relieves herself, they all are relieved from it. So I don't think they're just normal robots, right? Like I think before we could have said that, but they're all very closely connected and they all act as one. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's just a matter like, are they cyborgs? Probably, but they're more than just cyborgs as well. How did that connection occur? Right? How did the connection to where they're all closely connected, how did that occur? Den Kushi says, yay, we see one had a wind-up handle, so they maybe preceded each other, with York being the newest. Had a wind-up handle. What you mean wind-up handle, bro? You mean that wind-up like where you put something in the back of them? I'm not sure what you mean wind up.
Talking about Pythagoras. He's got the wind up key on top of his head.
Oh.
What?
I think that might be more closely related to Pythagoras' character. Kind of like how Edison always says Eureka, and like Eureka is kind of there's a myth that Edison was the one that created, or said, they said Thomas Edison said Eureka when he created, quote unquote, created the light bulb, but I think that's been debunked, so I don't know. But I think maybe that Wanda thing might have something to do with Pythagoras' character, maybe like Pythagoras possibly. I don't know though. I don't know. And
well, actually, it was his intern with the electricity thing of Edison. Is his intern, one of his intern, and he took credit for it.
Yeah, Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yes. Yeah, that was a real story. Yeah.
And supposedly he was copying off of Tesla.
Yeah, as well.
Nikola. How you say it? Nikola Tesla.
I think it's Nikola. Nikolai. I think it's Nikola.
Nikolai.
I think it's. I have a question because I'm French. What does wind up mean?
Wind up. Get that. To wind up. It's kind of like you. What are you gonna say, Angel?
Never mind. Say do your thing.
I mean, if you got the answer, you could say it.
No, I don't think my answer really explains it.
All right, a wind up is like you kind of charge. It's like charging something, right? Like you go wind up for a pitch, right? Like you kind of charge up for a pitch, like in baseball, or like you have a toy, right? Like there's certain toys you have to kind of crank, right? You gotta crank it, you gotta wind it up, and then it works. It moves.
I see the thing. Yeah, I see. Like the old Windows. The old Windows, you have to turn it around. Yeah, I see it now. Thanks, man.
Den says it's when you twist the key and it charges a motor up.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's the best.
So it's kind of like charging up, I think, more so. It's like because in baseball they say, oh, he's winding up for a pitch, like he's charging up for a pitch, like he's doing the motions to get ready to, or you're winding up for a punch, like you're cocking back and So yeah, but yeah, that's the Vegapunks. Anybody find anything interesting about all the Vegapunks? Because we pretty much got all the Vegapunk reveals. You know what I'm saying? Like, anything interesting about these Vegapunks?
Yes, there's something that one of the Vegapunks said, and it's I want to check if the phrase changed now with all. When they're talking about the Seraphim, what's it called? Seraphim Jinbei.
Okay.
I think he says, do you know how much a single Seraphim costs? And I find it very interesting that Seraphim that are, financed by the world government, they use the word cost. And so I'm wondering if the word cost not about money, but it's about material substance. Like maybe it's very difficult to make Seraphim nowadays.
I mean, I would think. Because you gotta use Lunarian DNA, and that's not exactly easy to find. It's not.
And I think it's even more than that. Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying that's just one thing, right? Like you destroy, like Seraphim DNA is very finite. You know what I mean? Because there's only one Seraphim alive, and unless you could just go get DNA from them, it's not going to be easy. Or not Seraphim, I mean Lunarian. Lunarian. Lunarian DNA is hard to find, and
well, this is I get it, dude. I'm looking at this, bro. She really talks like a old man.
Yeah.
I didn't even like in the official.
Yeah.
I oughta. What the?
It reminds me of Joybo when she talks.
Yeah, she makes me think of a southerner too.
Yeah. But y'all think these Seraphim have a weakness to light, though? I don't think we ever really went in depth about a potential light weakness.
Light?
Yeah, because they said they never tested the Seraphim for lasers.
Yeah.
They never laser tested them. That's why I think they stopped Jinbei. Frankie. Frankie was about to use his radical beam, and then it looked like something like walked in front of the blast.
Yeah, he says they're not ready for a laser test. Oh.
Did Edison stop that blast? Did he like step in front of it or something? Looked like Edison stepped in front of that, but Edison must be pretty durable. He just stepped in front of that. God dang.
Yeah, it looks like he has like a. Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, I'm not sure. But...
Wait, never mind. Never mind. It wasn't. He didn't.
Then how did they? I wonder how they stopped that blast from hitting.
I think they sent something. I think we're not seeing them anymore. That's why. But I think they did something or something. Oh no, it's Shaka. That's who Shaka. I think
Oh,
is the one who stopped it because Shaka is now with them. He's between them.
He was between them. I didn't see that.
He did the magnetic thing. I think with the boot stuff, he was able to stop the laser as well with the boots.
With the I mean, I guess they can manipulate light, or light and lasers is pretty much like light. So yeah, I guess because we know Vegapunk has light manipulating abilities.
Yeah.
But all right. So anything else about the Vegapunks and their jobs, or just any interesting thing about the Vegapunks that y'all noticed? And we never. What is do y'all have any idea of what Atlas's job is?
Who?
Atlas.
My guess would be like testing.
Testing.
Yeah, because she has like a whole bunch of different stuff like in like where she was found or whatever.
Oh, like
she's the violent one.
Hold on, because I think she did say she had a job like in one of the previous chapters, so you might be on to something. Because I think she did. I think she might have said what her job was. I have to go back though.
But Atlas is the violence, right? The one who said she's violence, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one with like the Uta hair.
Yeah. Well, what if she's the one who's the most physical one, and she's the one who tests out the Seraphims? Like she has all the Frankie Vegapunk, arsenal herself.
Like she fights them.
Yeah, because I'm.
Yeah, fights them. That's why she's the violent one.
Well, yeah, she just said
has like the photon stuff.
Yeah.
She said, "Well, I've got to go. Need to get back to my job. Violence." So that's her job, violence. I don't really know.
Yeah, most likely she's the one that's like the beta test. When you do beta tests, stuff like that. Most likely she's the one doing it.
He does the durability test stuff.
Yeah, and who are the characters you said Atlas reminded you of? Cube. It was
no, me. It was the Atlas gave me
some
Dr. Slump vibes. The girl, Dr. Slump. Her way of talking, her innocence of it, but there's also some Astro Boy stuff as well. But
And when we look at Atlas, right? When we look at Atlas the Titan, was the Titan that held up the world, right?
Yeah.
So it kind of took on like a very tough task. So, I guess fighting the Seraphim would be like the dirty work. It'd be doing the dirty work. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly what violence mean, but if it is just straight violence, then maybe you guys. I would assume that you guys are right. That's testing Seraphim or testing like the dangerous weapons. Like maybe getting hurt, like taking them on. And then Kushi says Atlas was the milkmaid. I guess he's going back to the cows. Oh man. Then there's just throwing bombs, man. Just throwing them bombs. Okay, so moving on. Let's get to the end of the chapter. We learned about Egghead Island's technology. Vegapunk was like, "Hey, you guys think that this island is futuristic, right?" And he was like, "Well, you would be wrong. What if I told you that this is ancient technology and this came 900 years ago, right? Like this is from an ancient kingdom of 900 years in the past." So now we're kind of touching into some Void Century territorial stuff, and we also in the chapter, we see this armored giant cyborg looking thing or mech. I don't know if it was a mech or armored giant or what. You know, it looked like it might have been a mech, and based on how Luffy talked, it was something they wanted to ride, like something I guess you could actually control. So I'm assuming it's like a mech, right? It also had like a sword impaled in it. You know, like it was a battle.
Yeah.
You know, like it was a battle.
Yes.
So yeah, man, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Anybody have, you know, anybody kind of want to start this off about going into the Void Century? I know Q. I know you would.
We'll be here for 30 minutes.
No.
No.
I
want to
Cube
call
to
out
go.
somebody.
I want Cube to go. I just want somebody else to start it this time because Cube always starts them off.
It's not a theory. It's just to call out somebody, Angel, who 1 month ago told us he doesn't think Vegapunk is going to choose anything with the Void Century. Just want to call him out.
Yeah, Angel. Now, since you want to call it off, how about you start us off? Now we're getting some Void Century.
I found it interesting that the robot looked like oars. That's what I found interesting from the thing he said. So yeah.
The robot looked like oars.
Yeah.
The robot looked like oars. In what way other than having horns?
The mouth, the way like the cover it has for the mouth. It's kind of the same of the cover for like Jack.
I mean, is it though?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I would say the upper body does look like oars. The way it is, like a very big upper body, but I'm not sure as well.
I could kind of see it a little bit. You know, the shoulders, the thin arms,
the chest, the way it is. You know,
because oars did have pretty thin arms and small legs, but. Let me see. Pull up a picture of oars. Cause oars has like thin arms, like upper arms, and then has a very thick like forearm, right? And then when you kind of look at the armor, it has thin upper arms and thick forearms, and then I kind of see what you're saying. So is that because I was thinking, is it like I wonder if it's a mech though, because Luffy was like, I want to ride it like it's a mech or something or roller coaster. Huh. Good point though. Good point. Den says, yeah, I got some thoughts. Luffy mentions the giant is made of iron. Iron giants represent the idea that it's not where you're from that's important, but it's choices you make. Yeah, I don't think I've seen that movie if you just kind of quoting the movie. And he said, also the iron giant thing can reference a society taking technology too far. Good point. That's that could be why the ancient king or the other kingdoms bailed against the ancient kingdom, you know. Could be. But Joy Boy.
Oh yeah, this thing's...
What'd you say, Angel?
No, never mind. I'm not gonna say anything.
You know one thing I just noticed? Luffy is holding a pipe.
Yep.
Kind of like Sabo, or when they were kids. Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know why I just noticed that and why I pointed that out. But Luffy is holding a Sabo-esque pipe. But yeah, Joy
He's
Boy.
wait. He holding Sabo's pipe.
I said
Why?
Whoa.
no. I said Luffy.
But
I said Luffy is holding. I said Luffy is holding a Sabo-esque pipe. Like he's holding a Sabo-styled pipe.
anyway, but with like the mech or robot thing, like I'm more going of like the head looking like a Viking helmet. So I think it more or less has more ties to Elbaf.
Yeah.
But I think Elbaf is gonna hold a lot for like the Ancient Kingdom and like the Void Century for us.
Yeah. So
And then like also since like he's Vegapunk's going off of past technology, and in this chapter they were talking about like the bloodline elements coming through. Like I was talking about this like on stream about how Vegapunk was probably using the Lunarian DNA to find out more about the Void Century through bloodline elements.
Yep. Yeah, you talk about that a lot, or we've talked about that a few times. Yeah, definitely, man. And it kind of brings me to one thing that kind of spoke to me about this chapter, like especially this part of the chapter. It kind of made me think back to when we first met Lilith, like the first Vegapunk, when we thought that was actually Vegapunk, right? And Lilith said, was kind of speaking like, look, I'm just a mediocre scientist, right? Like I'm mediocre. And it just thinks like, it just makes me feel as though this whole time Vegapunk has just been trying to recreate ancient kingdom technology. Yeah. And as great of a science as Vegapunk is, and as much Vegapunk has been doing, Vegapunk still fails to replicate ancient kingdom technology to a T. You know what I'm saying? To be accurate.
Yeah.
To make it just as good.
Yeah, I think,
so that's kind of why Vegapunk downplays himself.
Yeah, I think I pointed that out like in your reaction stream for that chapter. That he was comparing himself to the ancient technology, and since he can't fully replicate and has been falling short, that's why he calls himself like a mere scientist or like downplays himself.
Yeah. But yeah, was you still saying something though, Joy Boy? Let you finish.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty much good. Like on the end of the chapter, excited for the next few though.
Okay, and Cube, I'm gonna let you have the floor, Cube. I know you got something.
Oh, the first thing I'm going to say is, I think the word technology that he's referring only makes sense because on the current time in One Piece, I think it had other words for it, and I think what is the old the technology of the past is all about inherited wills. And I think before they used to do it in a different way. And most likely after 900 years, they lost most of the patterns. And Vegapunk, that's why he's so slow, is because most likely most of the information about it were destroyed. And he's trying to recreate everything himself or with others. And I would also say the Mads and Germa have been doing one version of it. If you look at it, it's all about putting a will of something into something else. They keep doing that.
So what you're saying, Q, what you're saying is if the Mads group reunites, they can all account for each other's weaknesses and replicate the Void.
Yeah, I think so.
So what you're saying is we could potentially see a Mads reunion. That's what I've been saying.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because now, if you think about it, every scientist that we've seen in the story, even Dr. Hoback, is done doing some form of inherited will. And I think whatever happened a long time ago, they lost a lot, and I think also the way to do it. And I think Joy Boy isn't wrong when saying he's going through the Lunarian DNA, because I do think that with inherited will, he could find information, wills of races of the past, he could find information through that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's something like that. It makes perfect sense in the world of One Piece.
Yeah, man. So seems like we getting some Void Century stuff here soon. it's wild how like the technology was better back then. But you know, what was I gonna say? It's man, it's such a good chapter. It was such a good chapter, man. That's all. It was a good chapter. I'm excited for the upcoming chapter. If anybody, if you guys don't have anything else about the end of the chapter, we could get into some actual predictions. If you guys have any predictions.
Yep.
All right, Cube.
So what I said before about the 5-plane in Japanese folklore, I think Vegapunk is now going to explain to us, since he's the one talking about devil fruit. He's going to explain to us space type devil fruit and soul type devil fruit, because like I said in Japanese folklore, soul energy and space energy is important, and it does explain what's Toki's ability, Law's ability, and or Big Mom's ability or Brook's ability, and I think he'll explain how it works in the world of One Piece.
Yeah.
So they're considered from the 3 first types. They're considered as metaphysical energy, and the soul in space is astral energy. And I think that's why Brook's usage of his power is so different, because it's all about soul energy. So I think Vegapunk, and I think we might get stuff with Zoro with the Grim Reaper through that as well.
Yeah.
So I'm having prediction where we're getting more explanation.
I kind of want to go back a little bit. I know we're talking about predictions, but I kind of want to go back to Egghead Island itself, right? Like,
yeah,
like seeing this big giant, right? It just made me think: was Egghead was Egghead Island a battleground at one point? Because I'm looking at this giant, and it looked like it's a big sword impaled in him, and I'm like, could Egghead Island have been a important battleground for the ancient kingdom? You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Or go ahead.
I just thought of something. The other island that we know that had big hostility was Shandor, right? And Shandor was part of that with Jaya, with the old kingdom. They look like a big skull. So I'm wondering if maybe Egghead was. Sorry?
No, go ahead.
I said the old image that we have of the old kingdom, with Shandora and all the other nations back in the day, it looked like a huge, skull. So I'm wondering if Egghead is a reference to maybe being part of before it was part of the old kingdom as well. And maybe that's why there's like Shandora, and that's why there's like casualties of war.
Yeah. And I'm glad you brought up Shandora, because you actually brought up something I forgot, like something I was trying to bring up, but then I ended up forgetting. But it was about Skypiea, and we're talking like void century technology. It just makes me think, right? Like about and I say this a lot. Like I talk about this a lot because I'm a little disappointed in Oda, because it seemed like he just kind of like forgot about it. But the impact dials, like I believe impact dials are definitely a ancient technology as well. I think impact dials came from the Void Century, and I wish Oda brought it back, because I liked how Usopp was utilizing impact dials for fights, and now I don't think we see him use them. Like I think one of them's he integrated into his Kabuto, but I like to see some hand to hand use of impact dials like he was doing with Luffy. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to add that as well. And I think that might have, because the reason why I think impact dials are part of the Void Century is because I feel as though Skypiea is relatively untouched by modern society for the most part. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they really got, like they really modernized. So, and we know that Skypiea is most likely closely related to the Void Century as well. Like they got like sun gods, all the different gods and everything. So I'm thinking impact dials might be a ancient kingdom thing as well. Plus pyro blowing. Like we first learned about pyro blowing in Skypiea. Now we kind of brought it back with with Vegapunk. So I'm pretty sure I wouldn't be shocked if Vegapunk bring like if he has impact dials as well, you know. And but yeah, anybody. But what are you saying?
No, and also because you're talking about stuff that should come back in the story. So the other day with Angel, I had that breakthrough. If you look at Miss Golden Week's color traps ability, you know, with painting, and you know we were talking about inherited will, stuff like that. The description of her ability is very suspicious now because that's the description of ability. She can make an absence of combat ability by using her unique skills as a realist painter. In this way, she could change a person's personality through the use of certain colors, influencing their behavior as she sees fit. And this is similar to, the wording is very similar to how they described Luffy's Gear 5. So I'm wondering if Miss Golden Week's ability, something with hockey or some sort of willpower that she's using, I think it might come back and it'll explain now maybe other feature of that, because I do feel like it was quite advanced, the description, compared to what we see now with some of the stuff. So I would also like that to come back, because I do think that it's low-key teasing us some true stuff.
Yeah. But yeah, all right, so anybody got anything else about the chapter or any predictions or anything I just said? Joy Boy?
Well, it seems like Oda's going for like the whole post-apocalyptic world trope. So I'm kind of worried, but
I was thinking that too.
I'm a little worried, but I'm interested to see how Oda can make it unique and like deviate from the trope.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense though. You know, like there was a big war. After the war, things just kind of went back in like, you know, like when you got advanced technology and you build advanced weapons, and then let's say if there's a war and you're fighting advanced weapons, it could kind of send society back into like what's it called? I'm trying to think of a word for it, but I can't think.
You know what that's what you're talking about is called? It's called MADS.
MADS.
It's mutually assured destruction.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm talking about, and it sends you back into like a more basic
sends you right
society.
Back to the Stone Age.
Yeah,
it's because like there's a quote that I've seen. It's I don't know what weapons will be used in World War III, but I know World War IV would be fought with sticks and stones.
No,
this
you're right.
This is funny because me and people had the same discussion, and it was Einstein.
Yeah. And that's what I was about to say, is that I want to know the relationship between Frankie and Vegapunk, because when we're talking about the Einstein inspiration with Vegapunk, I do like this idea that in history Einstein was taken to America, to get him away from the Nazi and all of that, and Frankie's nationality, being a scientist, he's American. So I do feel like there is patterns between both of them. So I want to know. Maybe he's not the father. I don't really think he's the father, but I think there is a clear connection between both of them, and I want to know what. And I hope it will happen in the next 2 scans.
Yeah. Hold on. The current timeline that we're in is just more of a post-apocalyptic. I don't want to say post-apocalyptic. In a way, yes, post-apocalyptic country, right? Like or society where it's like technology is a lot older. It's probably better than it was, like, let's say 700 years ago, like after everything kind of collapsed, you know what I'm saying? And even like maybe 500 years ago is better than that as well, but 500 is better than 700. So yeah, it's like we're getting back to that state, but still a lot of outdated technology being reused or something along that line, and Vegapunk might be the person that have been bringing it back. You know what I mean? But yeah, any
Yeah.
go ahead, cute.
Now we know why they call him the man of the future. Makes more and more sense.
Yeah, the future really being the past, but you know, it's kind of like a cycle, right? You know, the future eventually maybe the world gets back to that point, and then you know it resets almost. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like, what if we learn that this is just a cycle that just happens? Like,
I mean, that's the whole spiral thing.
If it was just a whole
Oda loves
oh
the
my
spiral.
God.
I mean, when I say cycle, I mean like the void century that we know of wasn't the first void century. You know what I mean? Something along that line.
I know what you're talking
You
about.
know?
And then like it keeps happening over and over again with different people.
Yeah.
Oh my
Definition
Lord.
It's all part of
Definition of cycle.
causality.
And it's up to
And again,
I hope Luffy ends that cycle.
it's up to Joy Boy to break it. But it's like every Joy Boy before failed or something along. I don't know. But I feel as though there'd be way more poneglyphs. It'd be poneglyphs from different I don't know. But yeah.
Your enemy is not emo. Your enemy is this. Your enemy is that.
But yeah, y'all. Or go ahead. Q.
I have a question. Joy Boy, was it you who dropped that information about Shanks, how he moves around, or not?
What are you talking about?
Shanks, were you the one who dropped the thing with the Bifrost, or not at all? Because I'm not sure if it's true or not.
No.
There was a guy on another Discord 1 month ago, or maybe a few weeks ago. He entertained the idea of Shanks' movement become, you know, the Viking theme. Maybe on his ship he has a form of like creating the Bifrost. That's why he can move faster than regular people. Going over the red line and stuff like that.
I reacted to a theory where it was like there's like underwater currents that could be rode. You know, maybe Shanks ride those for like maybe it was that underworld that King being the or Shanks being the king of the underworld or whatever, where it was like he rides underwater currents to get places faster, because his territory isn't like, you know how all the other Yonko have territory. Shanks doesn't have many islands, so based on the theory, that's not my theory. Based on the fact that Shanks doesn't have a lot of islands, that's because his territory is the water, underwater, you know, like the underworld. As well as, you know, they also speculated that Shanks was capturing people and putting them into slavery and stuff as well. But yeah, I don't know if I believe any of that. But to me, you know, I don't see Shanks as that type of guy. But hey, we'll learn. You know, we'll learn. But yeah, y'all, that is the discussion. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, subscribe. Hit that bell for notifications. Comment your thoughts on this discussion. What do you agree or disagree with us? Anything that was said? Anything you guys want to add? Put it down in the comments. It will be very appreciated. Follow me on Twitch so you can engage with me in real time. Also follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. And join the Discord. Make sure you guys join the Discord. If you want to be in a future stream, make sure you are a part of the Discord. You know, I do these streams with and for my Discord members. Yeah, and that's it. That's all I got, y'all. It's your boy Sean P. the Bluff God. I got Cube, Angel, and LaJoy Boy with me, the usual suspects. Y'all want to say goodbye to the people? They don't like y'all. No, I'm joking.
Yeah. See you guys. Sorry, guys. Sorry. See you guys. Appreciate it.
See ya.
Nah, but anyway, y'all, it's your boy Sean P. the Bluff God, and I'm out of here. Peace.